Catherine Howard was 17 years old when she made Henry VIII fall in love with her. She was 19 when he cut off her head. This is the story of how a teenage girl controlled the most dangerous man in England, how she made a king dance, and why it killed her. To understand Catherine, you first need to meet Henry VIII in 1540. He's 49 years old, obese. His legs are covered in festering ulcers that refuse to heal. The stench of rotting flesh follows him through Whitehall Palace, masked by perfume. His third wife, Jane Seymour, died, giving him a son, Edward, the Tudor heir he'd destroyed England to get. Mission accomplished, throne secure, succession settled. But now what? He didn't feel victorious. He felt empty, used up. He didn't need another wife. He needed something more dangerous. He needed to feel alive, to believe he was still the Golden Prince, not a dying monument. He needed illusion. And in the summer of 1540, that illusion arrived. Her name was Catherine Howard. Catherine Howard, 17 years old, born into power but raised in chaos. Her childhood was spent in her step-grandmother's mansion, a household of dozens of young women, minimal supervision, and older men who came and went. Henry Mannix, her music teacher, noticed her at 13. Francis Derham, a gentleman in his 20s, became her lover at 15. They called each other husband and wife. But Catherine wasn't just a victim. She learned. She watched how beauty became power, how charm opened doors, how men, no matter how powerful, became fools for a girl who made them feel special. By 16, she understood beauty was currency, and she became very, very good at spending it. In 1539, her uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, summoned her to court. The Howards needed power. They'd placed Anne Boleyn on the throne before. Now she lost her head. Now they needed a second chance. Norfolk's instructions were simple. Make the king fall in love with you for the family.
Make the king fall in love with you for the family.
Catherine arrived at court as a maid of honor to Anne of Cleves, Henry's fourth wife, a political disaster. Henry found her repulsive. He was already looking for a way out. Then he saw Catherine, 17, dark-haired, vivacious, everything Anne wasn't. Catherine became exactly what Henry needed. She laughed at his jokes, wore virginal white, looked at him like he was a god, not a dying old man. She never flinched at the smell, never showed disgust. She made him feel alive. By early 1540, Henry was obsessed. He showered her with jewels, land, manors. In July, he annulled his marriage to Anne of Cleves. 20 days later, he married Catherine Howard. She became Queen of England at 17. For 1 year, she was brilliant. She made the king dance. Every smile pulled his strings. Every touch guided his movements. She was the master puppeteer of a king. But she made one fatal mistake. She got bored. Behind closed doors, the illusion fell apart. Catherine was 17. Henry was 50. By day, she could smile, but at night, in the bedchamber, just a dying old man and a teenage girl. The ulcers, the smell, the violent mood swings, she had to pretend this was love. She wanted to feel something real. Enter Thomas Culpeper, young, handsome, a gentleman of the king's privy chamber, everything Henry wasn't. The affair began in early 1541. Secret meetings late at night, facilitated by Jane Boleyn, Lady Rochford. They exchanged gifts, wrote letters. In one, she wrote, "It makes my heart die to think I cannot be always in your company." Not the words of a queen to a subject, the words of a girl in love. Then the royal court went on summer progress, a grand tour of the kingdom. Catherine brought Culpeper with them. The risk was insane, but she became bolder. Meetings at Lincoln, at Pontefract Castle, more letters in her own handwriting. Too many people knew, and in the Tudor court, secrets were currency. She'd pulled the king's strings perfectly for a year, but she forgot the most important rule. The performance never stops. The moment you let go, the puppet falls.
It won't be long now.
November 1541, Hampton Court Palace. During Mass, Henry found a letter on his pew, left by Archbishop Cranmer. It revealed Catherine's past, Henry Manox, Francis Derham, relationships before marriage. Henry ordered an investigation, just to clear her name, he said. They arrested Derham first. Under interrogation, he confessed everything, then revealed something worse. Thomas Culpeper. They found the letters, in Catherine's handwriting, written while she was queen. Not youthful indiscretion, active treason. Henry read them. Something inside him shattered. Catherine was confined to her chambers. She became hysterical, begging to see Henry. She ran through Hampton Court's corridors, screaming his name. He refused to see her. He never spoke to her again. In February 1542, Catherine was moved to the Tower of London, the same tower where Anne Boleyn had died. Catherine knew what was coming. December 10, 1541, Francis Derham and Thomas Culpeper were executed. Derham, as a commoner, received the full traitor's death, hanged, cut down alive, disemboweled while conscious, beheaded and quartered, his body parts displayed on London Bridge. Culpeper, as a gentleman, was granted a mercy, beheaded at Tower Hill. One stroke. He was 26 years old. Jane Boleyn, Lady Rochford, was led to the scaffold first. She'd gone mad in her final weeks, guilt, terror, the weight of what was happening. On the scaffold, she composed herself, made a short speech, asked for God's mercy. Then she knelt, placed her head on the block. The executioner raised the axe. One stroke. Catherine Howard, who controlled a king, who made the most powerful man in England dance, died on a cold February morning in the Tower of London. She controlled a king for a year. She died in under a minute. Henry VIII never spoke Catherine Howard's name again. He ordered her portrait destroyed, her name erased from documents, as if she'd never existed. In Parliament, he claimed he'd been deceived, manipulated, the victim. He never asked why a teenage girl might have sought comfort elsewhere, never questioned what it meant that she preferred a young courtier to the King of England. He couldn't, because that question led to an unbearable truth. So what was Catherine Howard's story really about? She wasn't a villain. She was a teenage girl, groomed by older men, used by her family, married to a dying tyrant, old enough to be her grandfather. She did what she'd been trained to do, give men what they wanted. She made Henry feel alive, made him dance, made him believe he was still the man he desperately wanted to be. For a year, she was brilliant at it, but she let go. She chose to feel something real, to be a person, not a performance. And when the king fell, the crash destroyed everyone. Henry wasn't her victim, but he wasn't the master either. The throne had made him a puppet long before Catherine arrived, a puppet of dynasty, of politics, of his desperate need to prove he was still vital. Catherine just happened to be holding the strings when he finally felt them. And in the Tudor court, that kind of awareness was unforgivable. Catherine Howard made a king dance. She was 17 when she became queen, 19 when she died. She wasn't innocent, but she was 19, and that should mean something. The past never apologized, but maybe it should have. Like, share, subscribe. I'm Arthur. Good night.